Hey folks, it's Ben, and that's the sound of running water. Where's that water coming from? Well, if we follow the hose, and I'll get to why there's a hose here in a second, if it'll focus for me. Here we go. Follow the hose all the way back here to a ladder that goes up to a gutter, which we're not actually using, and I'll explain why. But the hose comes over here to an adapter that I had to make because I'm cheap, that connects a regular hose and black hose using a clamp. I keep it covered up so if it does pop, it's not going to go anywhere. That black pipe comes all the way over here to the Gould's pump. Yay! So what's going on here is I finally got the time to get this thing connected and start draining the pool into the clear tank. The way I did it, it is a jet pump, so there's two discharges on it, a front discharge and a jet pump discharge, but I only have a valve on the pump discharge, so we're using the jet part to actually pump the tank full. The problem is I don't have any pressure regulation on that because there's no valve, thus it just is a ton of water at low pressure. So what I've done is I've connected the hose, which allows me to run it essentially wide open into the tank, and I have the discharge just off. The pump's currently operating at about 50 psi, which is peachy for it actually. It's a good spot for it. It's moving a lot of water through it, so it's keeping itself cool and its seal's lubricated. And the cable you see here, I bought a power strip from the dollar store because it had a very thick gauge wire. Pulled it off the power bar and used it to plug in directly to an extension cord here, which I can then turn the pump on and off with. Everything of gauge enough that it can run. It's only a 1.5 horsepower pump, so it's not crazy either. The suction goes into the pool, which is held down by a bucket and a rock. So that keeps it down on the bottom, and that keeps my pump full of water. You can, if you wanted to, open the valve, and that's the actual discharge, but in this case we're just using that to move water over, so got some good use out of it. Now the pump works great, and that's handy dandy and awesome. What we need to do in the future is set this pump up with a pressure tank and use it to water our garden, because it's a great pump, but it's a $20 pump. So we have to take that in mind, that use it for what it is. It's an awesome tool that can pump water. In this case, we're pumping out this gross, disgusting pool. We've gotten below the point of where we can actually suck it out of one of the suctions. So now we would have to start scooping for it to do anything. So by pumping it into my big pressure tank, we're saving ourselves a lot of work here. But when I did initially, I'm like, oh, I'll run the hose up there and we'll run it down the gutters of the house and it will eventually go down into the tank. That just, no. Too much water. So we're back over here, running it through the hose. It's set up to be relatively automated. So as long as someone's just keeping an eye on it, we've already watered the garden with it because it is a nice high pressure. But we're at 1,000 liters now, and I'm going to run it right to the top. And then from there we can determine if we're going to just keep keeping the tank tipped off with the pool, if we're going to dump the rest of the pool, and if 600 or 580 gallons is enough for the rest of the year. The water coming out of the tank, which has very poor lighting, sorry about that, it's so late in the day, is a gross green. But that's fine. Plants and horses don't care about gross green. So if you have any questions or comments about the reuse of this pump, just let me know. But that's what I was doing this evening. The biggest part was getting that little coupling together because I didn't get to the hardware store today. I've been kind of stealing pipe clamps and stuff, and so I needed some sort of mechanism to get that pressure from the pump to the tank, and that seems to work out great. So like I said, any questions or comments, just let me know. But getting some use out of my $20 water pump. $24 because the extension was $4. That's all I've got in it, so it's working out for me. Okay.